Hello, and welcome back to the I AM H.E.R podcast. Y'all, I have a very special guest here with me. I'm going to let her introduce herself, but I just want to let y'all know, baby, we done went to the beach today.
Yes.
We done sightsee today. We done ministered to each other and told some testimonies and everything else. Y'all, the crazy thing about this, I met her today.
Right.
I just met her today out here in Jacksonville, Florida for the Snapback Sis Retreat.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm going to let you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay. Well, I'm Ayana. I'm from Jacksonville. I'm at the Snapback retreat just to release rejuvenate. You know, I just graduated Thursday, so I got my associate's degree in arts.
Come on!
That's it, son.
What's baby name?
And this baby, Isaiah. He's a special guest. He's a specialist.
Special guest. Sweet thing.
He just had some chicken.
So today we just gonna kind of get into it. We're gonna let the Holy Spirit flow and take us. So my very first question would be about being young and being a mom. Cause how old are you?
I'm 22.
22. She's 22. How is it like coming into motherhood as a 22-year-old and going through college and stuff like that?
So I would definitely say I am the eldest in my family, so that kind of mother instinct was already inside of me. I feel like it just came naturally, and I don't know, just having the Holy Spirit leading me and guiding me has really helped. It has been challenging. I would definitely say, like, seeing like your friends and your other peers being able to kind of be more free, it can kind of be like, well, dang, like I have a baby now. I have someone to be responsible for, somebody to think about, and I can't just be selfish and think about myself. So I feel like that's kind of a challenging part for me, but at the same time, it's a blessing, you know, and I really look at him as this is my legacy. So whatever I do, he's gonna look at me and he's gonna want to reciprocate the same thing.
Yeah.
So I have to be an example to him. So I look at it as a blessing. It gives me an opportunity to mature. It gives me opportunities to really
Some more maturity with that.
Right. It gives me an opportunity to really be able to see myself in a different light, instead of it just being, okay, you know, I'm young, I'm free, I'm single, I'm on my own, and I have all this freedom. But now it's like, okay, I'm a grown woman. I'm in a different stage in my life. So, you know, like I said, there's challenges, and you know, there's a lot of benefits to it though. So
I like that you said that, and one thing that I like that you kept saying over and over again was that your baby was a blessing.
Right.
And I think a lot of times, I think most people actually do this. They may still do this, but I think a lot of people feel like, or a lot of women feel like when they have babies, it was literally just God blessing them.
Right.
And I've heard a lot of stories where women kind of say how baby kind of changed their whole trajectory and whole life. So why is it that you think God gave you a baby? Like, what lesson through giving you this little cute little baby,
my twin,
giving him to you, what you think like the Lord was trying to tell you, or what type of lessons you think you was meant to get out of this?
I think for me, because I dealt with so much trauma with men in general, like I didn't have the best relationship with my father, so you know, not having that, going into the world trying to seek, you know, love and affection from a guy, you know, and being rejected or, you know, made to feel like, you know, I'm less than, you know, I feel like God gave me specifically not just a baby, but He gave me a son because I feel like you're a mother having a son. It's like a different love. Yeah. I'm not saying like, you know, if I had a daughter, it would be any different. It's just I can really feel, you know, his energy as a male, as a boy, like, you know, he has a certain Isaiah, he's a baby, yeah, but he makes the, you know, his smile lights up the room, like, it makes me feel good, and he looks at me a certain way, like, that's my mama, that's somebody I trust, that's somebody I, you know, just looking into his eyes, I can tell he trusts me. Yeah. And just having that kind of love is different, you know? You're not going to get that anywhere else. Yeah. So I really can say that that's why it's a blessing. It gives me a feeling of, not really say worthiness, but like, he adds more value to me.
Oh, that's good.
And so, you know,
I don't think too many women look at it like my baby brings value to me. Yeah. Because it's a lot of people, especially in society today and on social media and stuff like that. You got a lot of men kind of down talking women for having babies. Right. So you got women that feel like they not who they were, or, you know, they can't be the best woman they can be because they got a baby now. Exactly. Instead of looking at it as, this baby brings value to me. Like, this the best thing that ever happened to me. Right.
So and it's because of the legacy. Like, I feel like people forget that regardless of how you had the baby, whether it's inside of marriage, bless you, whether it's inside of marriage or outside of marriage, like, children are blessings. Yeah. If God said be fruitful and multiply for a reason. And when we look at fruit, what does fruit taste like? It tastes good. It's sweet. It's nourishing. It's a blessing. It's refreshing, yeah. So it's like, you know, my seed, my fruit, he's gonna carry something to the next generation. And it's going to be, it's going to be because of what I imparted into him, you know, so that's why it's a blessing.
That's good. But was Isaiah, did he come as a surprise to you? Like, did you?
Yes.
Okay, so it was like, out the blue, like, this wasn't something that you planned for, like, it was just came. So tell us about, like, around the time, like, that happened for you, like, give us a little.
Yeah, so I was in the transition from FSCJ, so my community college, and transitioning into the university. I was also, my lease was ending as well with my roommate. So I was in a really big transition period. And that was towards the end of the year, so December 2022. No, December 2021. And so going into the new year 2022, I had my birthday and everything that had came and passed, and I celebrated. And then in January, it was just kind of like, you know, I just wasn't feeling good, and I was just like, what's going on? I thought this was COVID all over again. And I found out, you know, I was pregnant, and you know, his dad, me and him were together for 2 years. You know, we loved each other, cared about each other. We're still in a relationship, even when we found out he was, you know, coming. But it was a complete shock. And the crazy thing about it is, when I wasn't feeling good, right, I started taking like vitamins and stuff, and I was feeling bloated. I was just confused, like, what is this going on? Yeah. And I laid in my bed for a second. A thought came to me and was like, you might be pregnant. And I was like, no, I can't share my body with another human. And it was so crazy, because then later in the evening, I was like, I need to go get a pregnancy test. So I went to CVS, got it, and lo and behold, it was the craziest feeling in the world, seeing that I was pregnant. And so I really had some really strong friends that helped me. They were really my pillars when I went through, you know, my pregnancy. And my mom was always there for me. You know, she didn't like it, but she was there. So it's just really, everything started going fast paced. I had to start going to the doctor, getting my checkups, taking my vitamins, and it was just really fast paced. And my relationship changed as well with his dad, because it's like, okay, you know, my body's not the same. I'm growing a human being inside of me. My hormones are not the same. You know, I'm not myself. So I went through a lot of battling with, you know, who am I? And battling with what did I get myself into? And not in like a negative way, but in like, okay, God, I'm in this situation. You knew this was going to happen before it happened. So why am I here? And I really, really felt a tug from God to just keep going. It was never like a clear answer on this is why, but it was just keep going. And I was going through so much. I had to sleep in my car, pregnant, you know, walking to my doctor's appointments, not having a car, and, you know, reaching out to certain family members, asking for help, and they're not there to help me. People knowing my situation that I'm in, knowing I'm pregnant, knowing I need help, and not willing to be there to help me. But through it all, God continued to show me my testimony would help someone else.
That's so good.
And it was crazy because I'm like, that's what strengthened me, because I knew that one day when I tell this to another woman that's going through what I went through worse or the same, it's going to encourage her. So that encouraged me to keep going. That encouraged me every mile that I walked pregnant alone, keep going. And I also knew that I knew the value of a child as well, and I understood that, you know, my grandmother had 10 children. And my great grandmother had 14. And I knew that my aunts and uncles were pillars in the church, and they are called to be ministers. So I knew the value of what a legacy really looks like. And how, you know, exactly how people look at you when they see your children, they see you. And so I knew that I had to keep pushing for him. And I wasn't perfect. You know, I, you know, said some things, did some things, felt some certain ways. And, you know, it is what it is. You're human. But at the end of the day, he's here. He's healthy. So, yeah.
That's good. I like something that you said when you was explaining it. One, about your testimony, but two, how your friends were pillars in helping you get it through the process and stuff. Like you were saying that your friends were pillars. How important is it, like as a mother, and especially as a young mother, coming from the, you know, just now getting on your own and getting into it to now having that, but how important were your friends like in that moment or in those times?
Honestly, without my friends, I don't know what I would have did. Like I was saying, so I had my apartment, I got my apartment in Daytona and my job was in Jacksonville. So before I found out I was pregnant, I had already signed the lease in Daytona and everything. And it was like, you know, I said I was transitioning. And so when my car ended up breaking down, so I wasn't able to drive to work like I wanted to. I wasn't able to even stay in the apartment that I'm paying rent for because it's in a different city, so I can't travel back and forth. So without my friend allowing me to, you know, stay in her place in Jacksonville so that I could work, like there would have been nowhere else I could have really gone. And it was just crazy because, like I said, without them, it was just like nothing would have been possible. So I feel like God put them not just in a place in my life for that season, but to reveal our relationship. Like, are these my real friends?
That's so important.
Exactly.
Jesus.
You're gonna go, like, I'm not gonna say it was perfect. Like, sometimes, you know, I'm pregnant, I had attitude.
Yeah.
She had an attitude, but at the end of the day, we looked at each other like, that's my sister.
Mm-hmm.
We sat down, we talked about it, we kept it pushing and kept it going. So, like I said, whenever you're going, like, the true tester to know whether someone is your friend or not, or if someone is for you, regardless of what relationship it is when you going through the fire with them, are they still going to be there with you?
Wow.
And even though they might not have consistency in their actions or character, they still there.
Yeah.
So it was very important for me because my family is really divided. There is really no true unity within my family members. So I know that God placed certain friends in my life to fill that void. And if people don't get right, like people, you know how they say like blood not thicker than
what thicker than water.
Yeah. So it's like at the end of the day, like yes, we blood, but you know that doesn't make us family truly. Especially if you're not living for God.
Yeah.
So, you know, God has just placed a lot of sisters in my life, brothers in my life, and, you know, it's helped me. It helped me mature me. I need people to be honest with me. And if I can't be honest with you, then, you know, it's not going to work. You get what I'm saying? It's not. So
that's good though, because I never really thought about it, like how important friends actually are, and how God will put them in your life to actually like, and you said fill voids, or just like be in a place of people that you thought you needed, or just feel certain spots in your soul that you really just needed to come together. And I like the fact that you don't call them your friends. It's like, this is my sis, and my brother. It's like, so I encourage somebody who's watching this and feel like you're alone, or feel like your family is not as supportive, or you can't go exactly where you want to go financially, whether it's with a baby or without a baby and everything else. Look to your friends and be careful who your friends are, because I think sometimes we get kind of confused on the word friend, because we throw it around a lot, but we don't really understand. And I like the fact that you was like, God was showing me these was my real friends. Like this was in the time frame where it's like, okay, you really my friend or you ain't? Because when I'm going through the fire, are you gonna be there with me?
Exactly.
So I think that's really, really important. What do you do as like self-care as like being a mom? Because I know sometimes it can be stressful. You want a little getaway time. You want to like relax and everything else. And then I got another question after that. But what do you do like as far as self-care and being a mom? Or how would you advise some of the viewers that actually are moms to like, you know, take care of themselves also while they have a baby?
It's a lot of things I do, but specifically I try to create an environment of rest. Because it's so important.
He just be looking. He's so cute. Sorry,
But setting an environment of rest, and
it's so good.
I say that because it's easy to have chaos. It's real easy. I could throw some clothes and just keep pushing, leave my laundry and dirty clothes everywhere. But anyway, like you gotta create an environment of rest. I also really love, I've learned different things about myself when I'm incorporating my self-care, and I learned that I love movies. And like I kind of always knew that, but I never practiced it. So I take myself to a movie every weekend, and if I don't get to take myself like out to the movies, I'm going to watch a movie at home.
Okay.
And you know, I intentionally go out to get me some snacks, and I'm gonna go, like I said, go out, or I'm gonna stay in. And that's just my way of just relaxing and unwinding. And you know, another thing too, I love showers. Like, it's just the little things. Like, you don't have to be extravagant and all this stuff. And, spend $150 on your nails and your feet. Like, you don't have to do that. It's just the simple things to show yourself, like, hey, I'm thinking about you.
I love you too.
And exactly, like, you gotta talk to yourself as if you want how you want somebody to love you and care about you. You gotta talk to yourself that way, because how can you expect someone to do that for you? You don't do it for yourself. And it's crazy. I never thought of it like this until now. But just imagine, like, okay, you don't affirm yourself and show yourself love and affection, and then you find somebody and they come into your life and they show you love and affection, right? That in your mind you want. They're giving you that. You're not gonna appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because you're not doing it for exactly. You're gonna take advantage of it because you don't do it for you. I've heard people say, "Well, I don't do that for myself. I don't do that for me." So it's like you're not gonna appreciate it when somebody else does it.
Yeah.
So that's just, to me, like,
I love it though.
Yeah.
And like I told y'all, Kimber, but I have a lot of people, because I take myself out to eat a lot.
Okay.
I take myself out to eat a lot. I go to movies. Like, I go shopping by myself, and a lot of people be like, "You're crazy. You go out to eat by yourself?
Yes.
You look like you lonely. You look like you better. Like, you look like you're depressed." I'm like, I have a good time.
Right.
Like, I enjoy myself. I have a good time when I'm out here doing stuff like that. So I think it's important, and I like the fact that you brought up, like, it's okay, because how you gonna want a man to love you and you can't love yourself?
Right.
Like,
he gonna look at you like, you don't get your nails done, you don't get your feet done,
but you want me to pay for it. Like,
Exactly.
you know what I'm saying? And that's for the fellas out there too. Like, if you got a woman and she ain't taking care of herself in that way, we might need to have some discussions.
Right.
We might need to talk. And that goes for y'all too. Y'all need to learn how to date yourself too.
Right.
And do stuff like that. So when you do have a woman come along, you know what you would do for yourself, you would do for them.
Exactly.
So
that's so important. Like, I love that you said, especially for men, when they do for themselves, they know what they should do for a woman. Like, I've met so many people, when I tell them, like, yeah, I take myself out on a date. Like, I was talking to this guy, and like, I was taking myself out to the movies, and then I like to go late at night. Nobody's there. I be by myself. And it's crazy. Like, I like it that way. But he was like, no, you're not going to the movies by yourself. You got to be going with somebody else. Wow. I'm like, no sir, I'm going by myself.
Yeah.
And I got dressed up. I did my makeup. I did everything. Even though it was late, I did all of that because I'm showing myself, like, I'm, me and you here, and God here, and we gonna have fun. We gonna, if a man's not gonna do it for me, I'm gonna do it for
myself.
Exactly. So,
so what is your take on being a wife? Like, is a wife something that you desire in the long run? And if so, what are you looking for in a husband now being, okay, let's do this. Okay. Let's make it fun. Did you want to be married? Did you just have a desire to be married before you had Isaiah? Yes. Okay, so tell me the difference between what you wanted before the baby and what you wanted now.
Okay. So first and foremost, I prayed for my husband when I was 19 years old, maybe 18, but I did pray, and I had to really go into a session with God because I had a lot of soul ties, and it wasn't even like all sexual soul ties.
Right.
It was, relationships with family members and other stuff that I shouldn't have been connected to in a certain way. So, like, I could definitely say when I prayed for my husband, I was really thinking about, like, I knew I wanted a man of God, of course.
Of course.
But
we want a man of God.
Right. But, like, what my prayer was then, it wasn't very much. I said, God, I want a man, the man that you want for me, because I don't really know what I want, but I know everything that I want will be what you have for me.
Wow. Pause real quick. Don't forget. Did y'all see that? She asked God for the man just because she didn't know exactly what I wanted. Mm-hmm. So now I want a man of God. I want a man. I want who you want for me.
Exactly.
And I don't think a lot of us are out here praying when we say we want a husband. I don't think we praying for who God wants for us. I think we give God a whole list of he got to be tall, he got to be 6'4", he got to have this, he got to have that, he got to be packing with a third leg, and then he got to come back. Like,
that's true.
Instead of just saying, God, I want who you want for me.
Yeah.
Now you trying to put limitations on God when God can blow your mind because he know all the desires of your heart already. So I had to say that. So go ahead.
So yeah, I prayed that prayer, and the difference between the man I had then and the man I want now is when I met him, just being real and transparent, and he knows this, so when I met him, I knew I at least wanted somebody tall. You get what I'm saying? He wasn't tall. It was certain physical features that wasn't there, but it wasn't like he was ugly.
Yeah.
So I was like, Lord, I said, God, if this is a man that you have for me, then place in the desire for me to love everything about him that I cannot accept right now.
God, that's so good.
And he did that for me. And I don't know if it was a lesson or a blessing. And as I'm saying, like right now, like he still could be my husband. I don't know. But I know for a fact when I prayed that prayer, it was one day where I looked at him and I was like, you know, he kind of short, but I was like, okay, you kind of look good. Like I kind of like your height because, you know, we face, you get what I'm saying? So I was like, everything right there in front of me. I ain't got to like tippy toes. So that's so funny. I was just like, yeah, that was something, but I learned now I want to be more specific with certain things. Exactly. Not saying that wasn't specific, because like I said, it was good for me to pray and ask God for the man that he wanted for me, but I got to be specific with what I want as well. So, you know, right now it's totally different. I need a man that will provide.
Come on, provide.
I need security. And I need someone that's willing to understand how I need to be loved.
Wow, that's so good.
Because I feel like a lot of times, I feel like a lot of times for me specifically in my experience, I would tell somebody what I want, and it'll go in one ear and out the other. And I would just be like, well, what's the point in me trying to explain what I need if you're not going to do exactly? So I really want a man that's kind of just willing to, you know, understand what I want and my needs. Because I know for me, my heart is like, when I meet a person, I'm automatically trying to figure out what you like. Even my friends, I'm trying to figure out what you like, what you dislike. Because if you say, oh, I want to go to Jamaica, then one day if I have the money and it's your birthday, we finna pop up and go to Jamaica. Like, and even the simplest things, like, you gonna beat mommy up?
On the podcast, we really rock on it.
You got some energy. But yeah, like, I'm always thinking about what do the people I love, what do they enjoy, what do they like, what makes them happy, what makes them smile. And I want the same thing, you know? So, you know, truly that's what I
love that. I love that. And you said so many good points from how you asking God for what it is that you want, and actually saying I have the desire to. And I think that's one thing that the Snapback Sister Tree kind of taught us.
Yeah.
Like, one thing that I remember that was said was like, when you're looking for a husband, if it's the thing that you want, it's a certain qualities of a man that you gotta have.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the fact, and I admired it.
Mm-hmm.
I admire the fact that you said that you prayed to God and He was able to answer your prayers that quickly.
Yeah.
I believe that's a gift. Maybe that's type of gift.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because some people will pray all day for something and it don't come as fast.
Right.
So to even know you and you being able to say, I asked for this and God gave it to me just like
It's
this.
really your heart posture.
Mm-hmm.
Like your sincerity, because I can be real with you, there are seasons in life where I done prayed about something and I didn't see it come past, but it was my heart posture before God. Like, am I just praying just to pray?
Yeah.
Am I praying just because, I want to say I did it? So it's really about that. And then it's the season in your life. Like, are you in the season to be praying this prayer?
Oh, that's so good.
Because it's like, my whole thing was I didn't want to continue in sin. This is my thing. I knew that I want to be a wife so that I knew God wanted me to be a wife.
Yes.
First and foremost. But I knew that there were certain things in my life that I was doing that I didn't want to continue to do. And there is a scripture that says it's better to marry than to burn with a passion. So I was like, Lord, okay, either I'm gonna get this flesh in submission or I need my husband.
Yeah.
So it's gonna have to be something.
Something.
So like, I was being sincere, and I had prayed that prayer when I was in high school up until I was 19, all of that. And it was crazy because his dad prayed the same prayer. His dad even made a song about the woman he wanted. And so like, it was just all aligned in a way because I'm just like, well, we both prayed at the same time and let's get this started. But it's crazy because the enemy will target you because he doesn't like marriage.
Yeah.
And that's what I was really in prayer for, because sometimes you'll be like, well, he's not the one for me and we just don't work and we just don't click. But is it that, or is the enemy really just attacking you? Exactly, because he knows what the end goal is. And so it really just takes, really having that discernment in that relationship and being in prayer with God to truly understand what is needed. Because if you don't, then you will put yourself in situations where you can lose out.
Jesus.
Or you can put yourself in a situation where you'll be worn for the rest of your life and battling with this demon for the rest of your life. And you stuck until you have, a way to get out. It's death to you, do your part.
Jesus.
So
that's so good.
Yeah.
That's so good. And I love that you shared with us that how important your heart posture is when you go to God. Because I don't think enough of us actually get in a place where we feel like, okay, God, I'm going to pray for a new car.
Right.
And then, God, I'm going to pray on behalf of my family. Or God, I'm going to pray for my future husband.
Right.
I'm going to pray for my future husband and everything else. Now, I want to be transparent and say, a lot of people have now. Let me disclaimer first. I'm not really big on kids. I teach kids. I don't want nothing for myself.
Yeah.
That's not a desire.
That's not your plans.
It's not a desire I have. But I feel some type of way when I feel like somebody else feels like I'm not capable of being one. Like, dang, I don't want to do all this on this podcast. Jesus. I might just have to.
Yeah.
My mom, like, it'll be little stuff that she says, or little stuff, or just little comments that's being said, like, oh, she don't know how to take care of that, or she don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
Or I have friends that tell me, like, you're not nurturing enough. You're not nurturing enough to be having no kids. Ooh, girl, can't have no kids. Or I have a dog. Y'all know my baby, Drew. I have a dog, and it's
That's
like
crazy. His name is Drew.
I have his name, Drew. So yeah, and it's like I've been learning patience with these new jobs that I told you about off camera. Like, that type of job requires patience.
Right.
It requires you being nurturing. It requires you to look these kids in the face and be like, okay, what is it? When you really want to say, hurry up, what you want, what you want, what you want, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's my transfer moment in saying that I want kids one day, but I'm not in a rush to have kids. But it makes me feel some kind of way when somebody makes me feel as if I can't have it, or I wouldn't be a good mom, or you ain't got a chick, or whatever the case may be. So I said all that to say, what do you do when you feel like everybody else is not agreeing with your decisions to be a mom?
What does God say? It always goes back to what God says. I'm the type of person, I never really cared what people thought about me. Things, of course, can hurt your feelings, or you're gonna have emotions about it, but I would definitely say, like, you have to understand how God thinks about you. You have to know you are a daughter and son of God.
Man,
if you truly don't know that to your core, then when people say certain things like, oh, you're not nurturing, oh, you're not caring, oh, you're not loving, whatever it is, then that's going to hit you. Because that means your foundation on how you think about yourself, or what you believe God thinks about you, you don't really believe it. You're just either saying it or, being passive about it. So it's really about, affirming. Like, having those affirmations every morning and night really will help. I feel like, because what we speak to ourselves, what we tell ourselves daily, that becomes a habit. That becomes like that consistent thought pattern. And I truly, like I said, I'm always gonna go back to God. What does He think about it? That's just it. Cause he what His say so is better. The people that are talking about you and saying all this, they're not gonna be before you when God is judging you.
That's good.
They're not gonna, they don't have a say so whether you go to heaven or hell. So it's kind of like doesn't
it don't
really
matter what you
right?
say.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because y'all, if y'all don't know already, she's my friend now.
Oh yeah, we sisters.
We're sisters now. So like, I met her today. We talked today, and we friends today.
And we went to the beach. Anybody that goes to the beach with me,
At 1 o'clock, and we at the beach at 1 o'clock in the morning, 1 a.m.
Yes.
Right now it's 2 o'clock maybe in the morning. I gotta catch a flight within the next hour. So
that's how you know it's sisters.
Yeah. So
and we got this baby crawling and doing all types of stuff.
he's so cute. The people gonna eat him up in the comments. He's so cute, y'all.
You gonna have a fan base.
And he's a good baby, healthy baby.
Yeah, he's been good this whole podcast. Like, seriously.
That's the grace of God. So, what we do on our show, at the end, we always ask our guests, how were you in your situation, being a mom, being a future wife,
right? Period.
Being, the self-care queen. Like, how is it? Are you healed, elevated, and restored?
You want to know which one am I?
No, like, I want to know, how are you healed? Like, through your whole testimony and process that you just shared with us today, how did you become, or how are you healed, elevated, and restored?
Healed, elevated, and restored. I can honestly say that I have a lot more healing to go through. I'm not totally healed, and I'm glad I can admit that, because some people can't.
That's good.
Elevated,
somebody to hear it.
For sure. Like, I'm not gonna sit here like y'all. Elevated. I'm definitely, God has elevated me. Yeah. There's a long way to go, but like, there was once I used to think, I was for instance, I just started my weight loss journey. And I used to just be, doing the bare minimum. And then I met a certain trainer, and this person pushed me to realize I'm stronger than what I think I am. Mm-hmm. And so that helped me elevate mentally and open my capacity to, do different workouts, not be afraid to feel pain.
Yeah.
Not be afraid to be stretched,
Good.
And that helped me spiritually as well, because God will put you in a season of the pressing, the shaking, and the beating. So elevation mentally, I can totally see a difference in my maturity level, especially after having my son. Mm-hmm. And restoration, like, God has restored a lot that the enemy took
Just your
from
car.
Yes.
Can we have that testimony?
Yes, of course. So, like, my whole situation when I got my apartment in Daytona and my job was in Jacksonville and I was traveling back and forth, my car ended up breaking down. So for almost my whole entire pregnancy, I was walking to my doctor's appointments and everything, and I guess I kept going to different like car dealerships, and I was like trying to get a car, trying to get approved, and no one would approve me for anything, and it was just discouraging, and it was like super upsetting, because I'm like, God, like, I have a baby coming. I want to be able to take him places and make sure he gets to his doctor's appointments timely. And it was just becoming a struggle. And even when I had the money, like I had $2,000-$3,000 at one point, they still weren't approving me. Wow. Just because of their whole requirements and stuff like that. But it was just one day, like I was like, God, this is the last time I'm calling this dealership. They still didn't approve me. I was like, I'm giving up. Like, I'm throwing in the towel. I'm done. And I was just mad, and I was just angry. And I wasn't even mad at God. I wasn't angry at God. I was just mad about the situation, the place I was in life. Like, I was just upset. And then I got a call, from Isaiah's, his grandmother, and she was like, hey, I have a friend, and she has, this car, this SUV, and she wants to, bless someone with it. So I'm like, not saying it's too good to be true. I was excited, but I was still leery, because I'm like, I done been through so many processes. Is this it?
Yeah.
So when I got to her house, this lady had literally the same car I had. She had another one, and another one that was white.
Just like,
so she pretty much had 3 of the same car. So like, I'm like, why does she have this many cars? Mm-hmm. But it doesn't matter, because she was like, I don't want this car, it's yours, and everything. And I was just like, man, this isn't real. So when I finally got the keys, I literally told God, I was like, I will pray around this car. I'm going around this car 7 times, like they did on the Jericho wall. And I'm praising God, and I did, because he did not have to do that. He did not have to do that for me. And, that's my blessing, and that was restoration for me, because the enemy took my vehicle. My vehicle was broken down, and God restored that. And with something nicer, and another thing to say, it was times where like cars were passing me, and I was like, God, I'll take that broken down car right there, right now. I was like, he humbled me. And he blessed me with far more than what I thought I could.
Yeah, and I done seen it. It looks nice. It is nice. I told her,
and I
the cup or you
kids.
You hear you? And I told her, either you the cup or you the salsa. So now that me and her connected, and she the cup, I'm the salsa, and I'm getting my car next.
Right.
So thank you so much for sharing with us. Thank you so much for having me on the show. We love and appreciate you, and we love Mr. Isaiah here. Yeah. He's just wonderful.
He's sweet.
If you are on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. If you're on Apple Podcasts or anything else, leave your girl a comment. Mm-hmm. Give me some 5 stars or something like that.
Yes,
And let's give it up for her. Leave her some nice in the comments, y'all. Leave her some nice in the comments. We will see each other again.
Of course.
I feel like we're gonna have part 2, 3, and 4.
And if y'all like me, let me know. And we might do some extra stuff.
Yeah, we do. Cause we traveling.
And
we turn.
We gonna do some vlogs and all of that. Y'all gonna see more of me.
Yes. So this is the I Am Her podcast. I love y'all so very much. Bye.
Goodbye.
Say bye.